Hello, the internet. It is Saturday, the 26th of March, 2022, and welcome back to the channel. First things to note here, folks, this particular stream is a YouTube stream, so if you're watching anywhere aside from YouTube, thank you for the watch. But if you wanted to comment, you wanted to make your own contributions to the topic, please come on down to the YouTube stream and be in the YouTube chat. If you are chatting to me and I'm not responding, it's because I'm not seeing it. I'm only looking at the YouTube chat. Right here, it's just got myself and Jake in it at the moment. G'day, Jake. How you doing? I'm here. I just shared out the stream with Facebook, Reddit, and YouTube. Thank you very much for that, Jakey boy, and tweeted out the stream. Thank you, man. Cheers. I'll give you a little good morning cheers. I want to talk to you about Zenfolio and why you shouldn't be using it to store your photographs in 2022. If you're a photographer and you're using Zenfolio, my advice would be to pull out immediately, and I'll explain why. The preface here is I've been using Zenfolio probably since 2009. Yeah, 2009 I would have started using it. And what do I use Zenfolio for? I use it as a hosting service that ties into the back end of my WordPress website, where all of my photographs of my band work is stored. Now, first stipulation is your use may differ. Your use case for Zenfolio may be slightly different to that, and that's fine. The moral of this story still applies. A lot of people use Zenfolio as a backup place to like literally dump all your raw files and your finished compressed JPEGs. Me personally, I just store the images that are going to be displayed on my website. So compressed JPEGs, but not even the whole lot, just a selection. Usually I select maybe 9 or 10 photographs from a gallery of each band. Now, my website, WordPress based, wordpress.org. You might do a slightly different backend. You might use Squarespace. You might use whatever. It's all kind of the same thing. At some point, the website's got to draw from the data stored in Zenfolio. And that's where Zenfolio and my WordPress site sort of correlate together. And they've worked together flawlessly for years. There is a slight hitch right now with one of their plugins, but that's not the reason why you shouldn't be using them. I want to show you my website and then show you my back end, I suppose, and then explain why this is a terrible thing to do. But just bear in mind that when we see my website, it's not working correctly as it stands. And this is because this one plugin has been, it's either been superseded or my WordPress install needs to be updated. And I'll explain why I'm not going to bother with that in a moment. But before we move on any further, don't forget to smack a Rooney on that like button if you are enjoying the content. YouTube does need a little nudging these days, so if you can nudge it along by smacking, just tapping even if you just sit on it and then just mold it. Do something with the like button. That'll help me out. I do see 6 watching and only 2 likes right now. That ain't a good ratio. We need to get that up, skis. So if you can do that, that will be great for me and everybody else as well. So let's go ahead. First of all, let me say g'day to Rich as well. Rich fooled me. I went to the D Live first. How you doing, man? G'day, Rich. How you doing? And Jake gives its said music. It said music. Oh, I'm in the music category on D Live. Okay, that sucks. I did change that through Restream, but it didn't quite work. That's interesting. Well, it's no big deal. I'll just change it now. I'll just quickly go ahead. Actually, you know what? Let me just quickly go ahead and change it. I'm just going to change what I'm streaming into on D Live here, even though we're not. Better way. Hey, you keep it down. Even though we're not doing a D Live particular stream here, I'm just going to change. Hey, keep me down. We'll just change from music to chatting. I thought I did change that in Restream, but thank you, Jake, for letting me know. Appreciate you, Jake. Very kind of you to let me know that. So let's go ahead and have a look at my website as it stands. If we go to bjwalk.com. Now, of course, my website's not functioning. I've mentioned this already. There are some gaping holes. I'm in the process of making a change to my WordPress install. I'm going to use a different theme. But if it was working, you'd see a splash page here, and then you'd see galleries here. the interesting thing to note here is this is the Zenfolio plugin, which is no longer working on WordPress. But that's not the point of the story here. The point of the story was to show you, so the full list of my bands here, if we click this link, it takes us to an alphabeticalized listing of all the bands I've photographed. This is all the A's. Then, of course, if you clicked on B, etc., and CD, let's just pick one at random. I guess the biggest letter would be S or T, I guess. So we click S. So we got all the bands I've photographed under the name or under the letter S. Now, the point of this is to show you how that pulls into the back end of Zenfolio. But before I do, I should show you my Lightroom just to be clarifying what's going on here. So this is my Lightroom catalog containing all the photographs since I started shooting from 2007 on the left here, all the way down to 2021. If we pick a year at random, I guess pick 2010, you drill down into bands. Now these are all the bands I shot that year. You open up that and you see the listing of bands here, 20th Century Graduates, all the way down. Big Day Out, let's pick a random one. I guess the Big Day Out's got a lot of bands. Tame Impala. Let's pick hometown favorites, the Hilltop Hoods. So this is when I shot the Hoods at the Big Day Out in 2010, was it? Did we say 2010? Yeah, 2010. So what I'm trying to illustrate is there's a lot of photos here. There's 20 frames, but on my website, I would only put the best 9 or 10 of those shots. So that's what I wanted to show you, that I'm not using, like, Zenfolio doesn't take all of my photos and dump them, but you could do that. You can certainly do that. You pay to actually do that with the raw files, but you can dump the high-res JPEGs. Wait a sec, you pay anyway. The tier level I've got doesn't allow me to store raw files, but you can certainly do that. And if you did do that, what I'm about to show you is going to really suck when it gets down to it. So that's my Lightroom. Let's get rid of Lightroom. We no longer need it. Let's go back to my website, and I guess we'll just go back and have a look at H, because we just looked at the Hilltop Hoods from 2010. So if we scroll down here, so I've shot the Hilltop Hoods a whole bunch of time back in the day. Here it is from 2010. Now, if I was to click this would bring up the gallery, which is not working right now, but this gallery would be what we would be looking at, pulled in from Zenfolio. So if we go to Zenfolio now, and we have a look at my portfolio here, on the left-hand side, you've got all it mirrors my website, if you like. So there's all the bands beginning with A. There's a folder for Tracer right there, because Tracer has its own amount of photographs. But if we were to scroll down through to H, click on H, it's going to bring us a drop-down menu here for all the bands I've shot, and in here there will be Hilltop Hoods, Adelaide Big Day Out 2010 right here. And so this is what you're going to see. There'll only be 9 or so. So these are the 9 or so photographs that I've chosen from that gallery to display on my website. Now everything is okay, right? Just ignore the fact that the plugin's not working. That's not what I'm illustrating. That when that worked, what that would do is this would be populated with those 9 photographs, but instead you're seeing the coding that's not quite working. But that is the gallery, and that is related to this gallery here. So what I want to explain to you, and this is the reason why you should never use Zenfolio, when that plugin stopped working, it triggered off something, and I thought, you know what? I've had that website, my BJ Walk, the way it looks now, I've had it that way since 2008 when I first started putting my work up. It could be time to change it. And I think Hendrik was sort of talking to me as well, sort of saying, man, why don't you change up your site and blah, blah, blah. So I thought, you know what? It's a good time to change it, right? So I went about looking at new plugins and how I could make it look better. And at one point I realized I don't actually need Zenfolio anymore. So Zenfolio is great because it pulls in the source file, and then you can make it smaller in WordPress. And then I could even put a link to download the original and pay for it. So there were these monetization options through Zenfolio, which was great. And I was using it. Wasn't really making much buck, but it was there. If you wanted to buy a photograph, you could do it on my website. I thought, okay, maybe it's time to not use that concept. Maybe just have a photography website simply to display the work. not make it purchasable, not worry about the back end stuff at Zenfolio and prints and all that. So therefore I don't need Zenfolio. So I was thinking, okay, but now I have the problem where all of my photographs, so these 9 selections, hey, Drumzilla's in the house. How you doing, man? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, you'll know about this. Website gallery hosting is a pain. I'm redoing mine as we speak and dealing with the host company. Okay, this will blow you away. So because I've only got the 9 photos or so of each gallery, if I go back to my Lightroom and I re-export all my files, it's going to give me every photo. So every photo from that shoot, from that particular band is going to come out, right? But I only want the 9 best ones. Now you might say, well, you've got the originals, dude. You can just go back and grab them. But when you're dealing with this many bands, where are we? Go to my full list of bands. We've got too many, like this is over 10 years worth of work, right? So that's just the letter A. So I got to go through every single one of these galleries and find which 9 photographs I made the actual online portfolio gallery. Wow, no, that's crazy. So I thought instead, well, why don't I just download the galleries that I've uploaded to Zenfolio, right? They're right there. Like, let's go back and have a look. All the galleries are right here. They're all alphabetized. This is going to follow the same structure in my new website layout. These are all the bands that begin with T. They're all in here, right? We drop down the drop down here. Whoops, the drop down on this side. Tim Rogers, Tracer, The Treatment, Liardi's Murder, Testament, Tracer, Tame Impala. All these bands are all listed the same as what they're going to be on my website. So I thought, oh, great. I'll just go and download all those Zenfolio photos and it'll put them in the same layout. This is where the issue comes up. Would you believe, if I told you this, would you believe it? You cannot download all of your photographs in a single file. You can't just go, oh, okay, well, all right, here are all my photographs. None of them are selected. Just go and download them. Can't I just right click and go download my entire gallery? Isn't that the point of having online storage? Because like I said, people literally use this as backup. People actually use Zenfolio as a backup option, but you cannot download all of your photographs with a single click. You can't just say, I want to grab the entire, like I said, I've been there since 2010. I want to go and grab the photos I've uploaded in the order that they are, in that layout, you know? So the hierarchy here of A, B, C, D, and all the bands, I'd love to just click a right click. You can rename, you can new group, you can new gallery, you can new collection. The only way you can download is by clicking on a specific gallery. Let's go to A. Let's pick a band under the A's. And you will know us by the Trail of Dead when I shot them in the Forum at Sydney in May 2009. You can click on that gallery. And at this particular point, where is it? You got to select all. Actions, download original files. Can you see that? It makes it a bit clunky when I've zoomed it in, but you got to select all here. So select all, 7 selected. Actions over to the right here, download original files. So there's no simple way to download everything you've uploaded to Zenfolio. I couldn't believe it. I wrote them a message saying, are you seriously telling me that there is no way you can zip my files and send them back to me with one click? I've got to go in every single gallery? That's outrageous. I've been pumping galleries onto your site since 2009, and now I've got to go back at every single one. Imagine that for like for me, it's a huge task, right? I've been shooting bands, hundreds and hundreds, I don't know how many bands thousands of bands, right? Thousands of different galleries. Imagine you were like a wedding photographer and you shot 4 weddings a week since 2010, 29, and you had to go through and you might say, yeah, but you should never store your originals. For me, it's not my originals. It's the ones that I want to put up on the website for display. But if you were doing all of those back-end galleries and client access areas, all of them are individual. All of them need to be right-clicked. All of them need to be gone across actions, download original files. So what I did was immediately canceled my subscription and said, when this expires, there is no way I'm renewing it. Get me out. It's a sad day because I've given you money since 2009. That is the last, like I said, I haven't had to change my website, or I haven't wanted to change my website since those days. It was fine. I mean, arguably it still is fine, but just, I guess from like a personal standpoint, I just wanted to change it, make it look a little more up to date. If we go out here, again, it's not working correctly right now. The galleries aren't populating and whatnot, but that's not the point. But I'm going to just do a different layout here of my website. And I did not think that this would be a thing. I just thought I'd be able to click and download everything I've uploaded into a zip file. I spoke to the Zenfolio team, had a good chit chat about it. They were like, unfortunately, sir, it's not something we provide. So it's super easy to upload, but it's terribly difficult to download. Wow, something's wrong there, right? The only way you could get around it, and this is a completely sucky thing to do, the only way would be to never make a gallery in Zenfolio. Just have a root folder, call it photos, put everything into it. Just chuck everything into that same folder for 15 years, and then if you ever need to access it again, that would just literally be a case of going over how would that look. It would look like if you just went, here we go, if you just went over it here and you had, instead of A, B, C, and D, and where is it, instead of all these drop downs, you just have one, and it would just be called photos, and then you could click on photos. In this case, it would be, I mean, it's hard to explain here because I've got a further gallery. Actually, do you know what? I don't even think that'd work. So okay, that won't work, folks, because inside this gallery, you'd have to, actually, can we do it? Select all, 74 selected. Actions. Dude, you can't even do it there. No shit, you can't even do it. Okay, so that sucks. So you need to, what? Let's try something. Let's go new gallery, new collection. Let's try a new collection. We'll call it test. I know you guys can't really see this so well. If I made it bigger, is it going to go all haywire? Oh no, that's okay. We'll call it test. I don't have any photos. Where did I put it? I put it down the bottom here. This collection is empty. Select all, actions, download original. So that's how you do it. You'd literally make a collection, and you would call it every photograph, and you would just dump everything into this gallery that says it's empty right now. And then when you wanted to, you just go download originals. But if you've been very, very careful to organize things efficiently and alphabetical, such as the way I have with S here, all these S bands, something for Kate, 1757, screen feeder, all these different uploads of the photos. You click on one, you have to select all photos, Sleep Makes Waves, actions, download original files. And I did, and the odd thing or the sucky thing is I did that for the last 7 months. I've been doing it, and Zenfolio said to me, we'll actually give you an extra 2 months or 3 months on the end of your subscription to enable you to be able to do that. And I was like, that's nice of you, but you know what would be better for every photographer, just have a download all files. Download all files as a zip. Done. Might take you half an hour if you've got a fast internet connection, but to not even have it there, it's like, wow, a huge oversight. So my advice would be, do not use Zenfolio if you're thinking about then grabbing the photos. The only reason you would use Zenfolio is if you don't really need to take the photos back. Now again, I already have the source materials, but to organize them into those 9 photos that I've chosen from each gallery, that's another job, whereas I've already done that over the course of the 10 years or whatever. So my tip, do not use it unless you're willing to throw them all in as one file or one folder and then be done with it. So what do you use, James? What's your web gallery hosting that you've used? Because I'm going to just basically dump all my photos into WordPress and then use a WordPress theme to organize the gallery. I'm not bothering with an external plugin and an external source. Yeah, what are you going to, yeah, so I'm just going to go raw. I'm going to just get a new theme, and the theme is going to say, well, you want to make a gallery, give it a name, and just dump the photos into WordPress and let WordPress, because I'm, on the one hand, I've got a glass of water I'm not drinking from. On the one hand, you pay for WordPress, which you've got to pay for hosting to put it on. So you've probably got a website that's given you a couple of gig worth of storage space. And then you pay for Zenfolio to host more space. And then you got to tie it all together. There's already hosting space on your web server where you've put WordPress. So my WordPress install looks like this, of a potential this amount of space that I've bought for bjwalk.com, and then I've bought all this extra space on Zenfolio and tie the two together. Get rid of Zenfolio and just put it all on WordPress. I used Site 5 and I'm moving right now. It was so clunky. Okay, what is Site 5? Site 5. What is Site 5? Site 5? Site 5 web hosting. So this is your hosting. So this is also includes like gallery hosting, I guess. So yeah, look, you're paying like the minimum you're paying is $10 a month to get this hosting, but you're gonna have to, like, if you've got a website, you've already got hosting. Unmetered bandwidth, unmetered disk space, disaster recovery backups, and 24/7. So these are not specific for photography, but yeah. Well, that's my hot take on it, folks. They do it all. Well, yeah, okay. So my website will be looking slightly different coming up in the next few months. I'm not too sure when I'll have finished it, but there is a plan to sort of get that done. Well, ideally get that done very soon, because I am photographing. Actually, it's not going to be done by then. Next weekend, there's a festival I'm shooting. Haven't shot a music event in a long time. And so my website will still be, I mean, you can see the last band I photographed here was in 2019. Great band, Fucked Up, Canadian band. If you've heard of them, you'll know what they're about. By the way, maybe I should just little promotion of my website. If you want to go and have a look in the chit chat, there it is there. You all know it. James knows it. James's bands are on here. Where is, oh, you won't see it anyway, the galleries. James's band's up there. Yeah, so that's my take. That's my hot tip in 2022. Do not use Zenfolio. I want to say thank you for those that are watching here. I also want to say thanks to the 6 likes. I see 6 viewers and 6 likes. That's a great ratio. That's 100%. Appreciate the 100% upkeep, uptime. That's a good time to get out of here, I guess. Yeah, I'll see you all next time. Maybe tonight on DLive? Not sure. Maybe not. Either way, Zenfolio, nay. Jesus. Get that out of there.